Information Station 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
With the sun and it burns until the day is done.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock, it's time for Horse Sense, and it looks like we have one guest on the phone, and I haven't connected yet, but I just kind of hit the button right there, so if you're on the phone, hang in there. Crystal Furnung is here to educate us about the industry, the profession that made Marion County famous. This is part of the program is brought to you by the Equine Alliance of Marion County, and of course Barbara Feitos is here as well. So let me say good morning to our ladies in the studio, and good morning, ladies. Good morning. Where are you? There you are. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Bruce Ackerman here from the Star Banner. Thank you for being here for this. And we have a phone call. Who's on the phone, Crystal?
Frankie Lovato, an Eclipse Award-winning jockey.
Oh, wow.
Who has developed a website called Jockeys World. And Frankie also developed the Equicizer, which is what jockeys work on to warm up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, they have to practice just like a basketball player has to practice free throws. Jockeys have to keep their timing and keep their fitness level up.
What does it look like? Does it look like a horse?
Kind of, yeah.
Really?
Kind of looks like a horse, got a head and all that stuff. And but Frankie's also done what we are really interested in is he has developed 365 days of terminology, a terminology a day for every day of the year.
Oh, really?
And he's
I bet I'd fail that test.
No, not if you study it.
Well, I'm learning from you.
That's right.
I don't know how many weeks we're into this. But.
And he's also working on video to go with each terminology now. So, I mean.
Oh, really?
Yes. When I called him and talked to him, I said, I'm all about making connections with people who are already experts at what they do. So instead of us putting together a whole terminology deal and trying to get it up on our Facebook page and website and all that, Jockeys World has everything you need, plus to learn about the terminology, plus to really kind of know what it's like to be a jockey. And there's like a community that you can register on this Facebook site or on their website, Jockey World. Uh-huh. And so you can do like conversations with Frankie, and you can, there's like a community that's in there. So if you really want to know more about the kind of behind the scenes stuff, if you're wanting to be, if you're interested in maybe becoming a jockey, or, it's a great website for just about anybody.
And I would imagine my lack of education in horses would probably surprise you that when I first moved here, I had no idea what a groom was. I thought it was a guy getting married. I had no idea what the word equestrian meant. I thought it meant fancy. I didn't know what the heck equestrian. So that's two examples right there.
But see, there's people who would enjoy watching races, even if it's just the big classic races, like the Kentucky Derby, the Breeders' Cup, the Belmont, the whatever it might be, Florida Stallion Stakes, the Florida Cup Day. There's a lot of really great racing that goes on in South Florida. And even if you just wanted to dabble in it and watch horse racing, or be able to, when your family comes into town, be able to educate them a little bit, take them places. Karen Grimes, our committee member, has Farm Tours of Ocala.
Yeah. But she was a sweet lady too. You're all sweet, really.
Thank you.
I mean, it's just such a joy to get to know you. And I'm not sucking up to you. I'm just telling you.
Well, that's what the Equine Alliance, Marion County, and Horse Sense is all about. People just did not know how to.
Even Mark is sweet, by the way.
Is he? Yeah. Mark's like my big brother. I'm always like going, oh, shut up, Mark. So, but yeah, we're going to do a couple of little horse bits real quick, and then we're going to get Frankie on air.
Absolutely. Thank you, Crystal. We want to just always do a shout out to our wonderful sponsors, Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association, Infinite Day Spa, Photography by DeMarco, and of course Almara Arabians. Almara has a wonderful announcement. They are sponsoring the Orlando Arabian Horse Club Region 12 qualifying class Arabian Horse Show that will be June 7th and 8th. It is the Summer Sport Horse Spectacular.
Oh, wow.
And it will be held at Clarcona Horseman's Park. If you need more information, contact Becky Parker at Elmira at 407-463-5253. And we also have another local announcement from MTRA, the Marion Therapeutic Riding Association. They're going to host their very popular summer riding camp again this year, Camp Caballo for Kids. There will be 2 sessions, June 16th through 20th, and then the 23rd through the 27th. It will be weekdays from 9 to 3:30. They will feature the age group, the age cohort 8 to 13 years old. All kids are welcome, including, of course, children with disabilities, which is what they feature out there and do an incredible, incredible job. It's going to be located at their Greenways location. If you need more information, contact them at 732-7300. Cost for both weeks is $500. For 1 week is $300. So again, a wonderful opportunity for especially families with of non-equestrian families that get an opportunity to get out there and really expose their kids to this wonderful, wonderful sport. So stay tuned for more information on that.
And of course we have our Blue Jays band who wrote our theme song.
Right.
Yeah, they're actually in the studio today doing something else. So. And wanted to remind everybody that the OBS June 2-year-old sale will be going on. The breeze shows, the under tack shows, where they actually the horses have to come out and actually breeze a little. It's kind of like their performance on whether you might be interested in buying them or not.
See, that's another word, tack. I thought I knew what a tack was.
Under tack. They are under tack. They have a saddle on their back and a jockey on their back or an exercise rider. So that's going on also in June. So you can call OBS 237-2154 to know any more about that. And that's it. And we're going to get going with Frankie.
All right. Good morning, Frank. You're on the air with us.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Great, great.
Well, Frankie, we talked a little bit this morning. I want to cover a couple of things. I want you to talk about your website and kind of what you're wanting to do with it, but I also want to hit on your 365 days of terminology, kind of what piqued your interest and how'd you do it, how long did it take, and I know you're working on videos to go along with them. Let our listeners know how they find that on your website.
Sure. Well, I'll start with the website, and it's an organization. Actually, we're a nonprofit that I had started a few years ago. It's called Jockey World. Our website is jockeyworld.org. And basically, I started this because I've mentored kids for many years that want to get into horse racing. And myself, actually, I lived in Ocala when I was a kid. That's how I got started learning how to ride.
You went to North Marion, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Cool.
For a short period of time, and I worked on a few farms down there, and then my parents actually my father was also a jockey. He retired when he retired, he bought a small place down there, and we ran an operation. But then my dad went back to riding, and then I went off to racing as well. So our Ocala days are memories at this time. But so back to Jockey World. I started this organization to help kids learn about horse racing, specifically those that wanted to have careers. So it wasn't just jockeys, it was those who may want to be grooms or barn foremans or trainers, exercise riders, everything. So, but with mentoring kids, there's no information out there that's attainable or easily accessible. So these days kids are on their phones and computers, and I made this organization easy access to learn about horse racing. It's expanded since that concept with all race fans or many people that have interest in horse racing that want to learn more. So Jockey World has become for just about anybody that has any interest in horse racing and wants to understand it better. As you mentioned, it's a community, so besides our Facebook and social network, you could actually join our website and become like an exclusive type member. It's free, and we have a forums section that they can dive into, and there's all different kinds of categories And there's other experts besides myself that will speak with and communicate with anybody that has questions about horse racing or a specific area or a specific career. So that's what Jockey World is basically about. Then you mentioned the Racing Terminology series. I did this. I wanted to bring more awareness to what I had created because there is so many people benefiting from it, and we're just a small nonprofit. We have a very limited budget, but I thought of the crazy idea of creating. I'd written a terminology booklet. It's a small pocket-sized booklet, and it's in print. Actually, I sell it on Jockey World. All the proceeds go to Jockey World. Helps us maintain and run the thing. And but from that booklet, I thought, what would be really cool is if I would embellish on each term and make a video, a short, quick video that would illustrate it, give examples, and just kind of embellish on each and every term. And this was a project that I did. It's completed now. It was done in 2013. Me and my assistant, Kayla Jarvinen, who helps me with all my projects, she, together as a team, we committed ourselves to this project. And we're still kind of recovering from it.
I bet.
Yeah. But we're redoing the series again for 2014. So every single day a video is posted with a term in alphabetical order that people can follow along and learn specifically what each and every one of these terms means with a video. So
I had a gentleman who was kind of a little bit had gone to races a few times and stuff, and he had been on our Facebook page, and I had shared one of Frankie's terms, which was around the dogs, and on a dirt track. To keep, if it's muddy, they want to keep horses off the rail and out a certain distance, so they're not messing up the track for the races later in the day. And so they put they're really just cones, and they put them out on the racetrack at a certain distance from the inside rail, and that's where the morning horses that come out and are just galloping, you have to stay on the outside of that. And it was called whatever they worked in that day, and they went around the dogs, which meant they...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he said, I never would ask anybody because I knew there weren't actual dogs on the racetrack, but I never really understood, and he had seen, and Frankie has a video that shows that, and he just thought that was so cool.
That is cool.
He really enjoyed it. So I know he's been on your site quite a bit, Frankie.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, that's one of the funny ones. That and Went for a Hot Dog was a real popular one.
Yep, that was a good one. Explain that one. Larry, I can tell Larry wants to know.
Yeah, I want to know what that one means. That sounds like a euphemism for using the restroom or something.
Yeah. What does it mean?
Well, when a horse blows the turn, basically, or doesn't, goes on the far outside, people will say, well, he went for a hot dog. And
so,
okay.
Yeah, so see, if you're coming blows the turn, that's another terminology. You're coming around the end of the racetrack, and you're going to go into the straightaway. Well, if the horse doesn't make the turn correctly, he blows the turn, and then you're on way out on the outside of the rail. He went for a hot dog.
Wow.
That's a great thing about racing industry, and I'm sure Frankie will tell you, we've got some very colorful, not only colorful people, but just colorful terminology, and it's kind of fun to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned, the website, we post on the homepage of jockeyworld.org the term of the day, but there's also a link on the homepage that'll take you to the entire series. Mm-hmm. So you can.
Where is that? I've got your website up here. So if you're on the main website.
Yeah, scroll down to the middle of the page, or just slightly down, and you'll see the entire series. A link where
there it
you
is.
can watch the entire series. Mm-hmm. But the term of the day, it's updated every day. So today's term is handicap, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. Which is another tough one to explain to people, but that's what the video series is for.
We explained that to you last week, Larry. Do you remember it?
Well, hold on. Let me tell you, testing me. It sounded like it was similar to the handicap in golf, where you add weight instead of points or something like that. Mm-hmm. Right? You added weight to the saddle or something.
Well, on some of the handicap races, on certain types of races, horses will be assigned weight, right, Frankie?
Right. Well, every race, horses are assigned a weight, but most of them is through conditions and allowances. A handicap is where the track's official handicapper actually evaluates the race, and the horse he thinks has the best chance to win, he'll assign the most weight to. And the horse that has the least chance to win, he'll do the whole field of horses. So one horse might carry 125.
So it is a weight thing. Okay. I wasn't sure if I remembered right. Yeah.
And weight is supposed to be taxing to the race horses. So it's a fun way to make a race a little more evenly matched, in theory, where the handicappers can say, well, I would normally bet on this horse, but because he's carrying 5 pounds more than this horse, I'm going to choose this horse to bet on. So that's kind of the basic concept of that.
So give me a couple of your most challenging terminologies as far as backing it up with a video.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there was 365 of them. So,
that's true. That's big jump number one.
Are they all on the YouTube channel? Are they all on the same channel on YouTube?
Yeah, well, we had to put them in playlists, so they're in 2 playlists, because playlists on YouTube only allows 200 videos. So we have 2 separate playlists. But if you were to search on YouTube racing terminology, good chance you're gonna get pounded by all our videos.
But you can get them all just off Jockey World too.
I'm looking at them now. I'm seeing one right now.
Yeah, they're all listed. There's a page just dedicated to the terminology series in jockeyworld.org. I just thought of one of my most challenging ones that was was contract rider.
Oh. Okay.
Which, you can. There's a simple way to, basically jockeys could be under contract for one trainer and stable, but they're basically, it's almost extinct now. But that process of being under contract, but it was so complicated to get to the facts of it and why a jockey would be contracted and the whole history of it.
Yeah, it is almost extinct now.
Yeah. That I think I literally put about 16 hours of research.
Wow. Just
in that video alone, just to make sure I had it right.
Now, we also want to take a couple of minutes and have you talk about your equicizer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wanted to, to remembering that we're 101 teaching here, basketball players have to constantly practice their free throws, kind of in the same vein as not only keeping your timing down, but warming up for a race, and explain, that process, why jockeys have to do that, and what makes your equicizer different than the old ones that used to be around.
Absolutely. I would love to talk about it. Every athlete has a means to practice their game. A golfer has a driving range, a baseball player has a batting cage. I can go on and on. If you think about like you mentioned basketball, you can have a basketball hoop in your driveway. Well, there's so much fitness and skill involved with being a jockey, and a lot of people don't really realize it or don't think about it. If I was to put the average person on the equicizer and have them just ride it for 30 seconds, they'll feel and understand, like, holy smokes, I didn't realize what goes into this. To be able to perch up on a horse and be able to use your reining skills and your balance and the strength, the fitness that it takes to do that. The equicizer is a non-motorized mechanical horse. It's all spring balanced. So the movement of it is created by the rider, and it takes a tremendous amount of rhythm, balance, coordination, and positioning. So many of these things can fall apart quickly if they're not if those skills aren't honed. And that goes for any rider. You mentioned, before I came on the air, I heard you guys talking about the North Marion riding for the handicap, I believe. The equicizer is very popular with. We have our own therapeutic riding program as well. My wife is the program director of Stampede of Dreams, which is our therapeutic riding program. Very popular as a tool because of riding a horse takes, it takes more than people realize. There's the balance, the positioning, trunk control, with the core strength, all those things that are so important to all horse riders. The Equicizer is being used for all horse riders.
You know, I was thinking about this last night. I was watching the Yankees with my husband, and they were the talking about the pitcher, and he was one of those pitchers that just had so much action going on. I mean, it was like he just was everywhere. You know, he was a big, long, lanky guy, and they were talking about how a pitcher like that, it was so much harder for them to stay in the strike zone because they had so many different movements to control, and the less movement you had, the more accurate you could stay as a baseball pitcher. And I thought, you know, it's a lot the same with a jockey. You know, you want to, and I probably should let Frankie say this, but you want to get the most out of your horse, but not interfere with him at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, basically, you want to be the best passenger you can, and you're trying to you're trying to stay away from inhibiting a horse's action. Rather, you know, you want to be in perfect rhythm with them, and we actually drive. We push on the horse's neck, where most riders use their seat to drive a horse, like cowboys and Indian stuff. I mean, or any equestrian, any type of equestrian, when they want their horse to go faster. This was dressage, hunter jumper.
You're moving at your hips.
Reining, you're moving at your hips, and if you're in rhythm, you can make a horse go faster by pushing with your hips, or you can slow a horse down by slowing your hips down. Great horsemen, I mean, know this, and that's kind of what you can do on the Equicizer.
Explain on the difference in when they're watching this and they're showing a jockey pushing with his hands. Explain throwing crosses.
That's one of our terms. Throwing across, and a lot of people say, well, what does that mean when a jockey's throwing across? Basically, we use with our reins, we hold what we call a cross, which is a bridge in the reins. And sometimes we're riding with one hand because we're also using the whip. Could be with the right or left hand, and we have to maintain control and keep guiding and pushing on our horses. So when we go to throw across, basically what we're doing is we're re-gripping, which we're turning loose. We're using both hands. You have to use two hands with this process to break your cross, break your bridge, and you're cleaning, like you're re-gripping, you're regrouping. I call it like regrouping because reins get loose and you're riding so hard, and there's all this going on that you're re-gripping. You're throwing a new clean cross. You're clearing the mane that gets caught in your fingers, and you're tightening your reins back up. So you throw across, and you're back to work again.
And how did you get the video on that one?
I demonstrated it on the Equicizer.
Oh, you did?
It was perfect because my assistant Kayla was able to film me right on top of me on the Equicizer and show my hands in close up. So it was really able to demonstrate what throwing across is.
Cool.
Oh, wow. I found the Equicizer, by the way, on your YouTube page also. Yeah. Kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. You know, this week I had, after the radio show last week, I had somebody send me a note on the Facebook page, and it said, I enjoyed your show so much today that I went back and watched it again.
Oh, good.
Which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And then I had a girl send me an email from our horsesense@gmail.com, and she said she had done some
We've got 1 minute.
She's done some volunteer work at MTRA, and she wanted to start working on a horse farm. How do I do that? So that's something I can send her to Frankie's site and give her some insight here. But I think we're starting to do what we want to do, which is help people learn and teach. Connect. Yep. Connect, communicate, and educate. Frankie, we really appreciate you taking time out to be here today. And I hope everybody goes on to Jockey World, and you can also talk to Frankie there. There's places you can chat with him.
Great. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frankie.
That was fun. Well, Chris, we are up against the end here. And,
I know. We never have enough time.
It goes quick, and I was amazed to hear that you had so many people join your Facebook page, too.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
that was
doubled
cool.
in size.
So do it again. Do
All
it
right.
again.
Exactly.
Add some more this week. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And-
Thanks.
And this will be online at probably about 2 today or so. Thank you, everybody. We'll take a little break. Ocala Magazine Radio is up next. This is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The Memorial Day travel forecast, very busy.
Overall, AAA thinks there are going to be about 36 million Americans hitting the road at some point this weekend, traveling 50 miles or more. They're going to be spending a lot of time in traffic. They're also going to be spending a lot of money. And that is good news for the White House, looking for anything to boost the economy.
Fox's Doug Luz.